Hello Steelers, welcome to another hobby update. Another week has gone by and again I've been left alone in the house, so I was very busy painting this week. Managed to crack out a few things. One of the things I did actually do was I finished off the Dutch 1st Battalion, or the 1st Infantry Regiment. These are just British soldiers painted blue basically. This is similar to the 4th Regiment that I'd done relatively recently, a few weeks ago. I thought I wanted to do something a bit different, but I was just waiting for the flags from Fighting 15s to come through, and they came through, I think it was Monday or something like that, so I just quickly put those flags on. I also changed the flags from the 4th one as well, from the printed out ones that I got from Nap Flags, and just added a few more of these. Now I know that these only had one flagpole in reality, but you know, everybody likes 2 flags, don't they? So don't worry, I know about it, but I think it looks better with 2 anyway. They've just picked up their 2nd Regiments, their 2nd Battalion's flags. I also, as well, painted the 1st and 2nd Carabiniers, the French heavy cavalry. So I just broke some of these up. There's only a few of these on the sprues, but because I got an extra sprue of French cavalry from down at the club, I was able to actually make out basically two regiments or 2 squadrons of these, each of about 12 figures on each. I initially painted the 1st Carabiniers, and I painted them wrong, as I was roundly lambasted on Facebook for doing so. So there I painted those in blue, but they were apparently actually in white. They didn't wear the blue campaign habits when they were out in 1815, so I painted them in white. To be perfectly honest, I do actually prefer them in white, because it just makes them look a little bit different to the rest of the French cavalry. I know the French cavalry have got all sorts of different colour uniforms, but you know, having them white makes them stand out as well. There was only a couple of these, so I'm quite happy with them, just as two units. There was only a couple of regiments of these during the Waterloo campaign, so I'm quite happy with those 2 to stick in for those. And then I also turned back to Vietnam, and I painted up a couple of Hueys as well. These are ones that Mike Wilkins had given me all the way back at Steel Lard. It was Steel Workshop, Lard Workshop, not Steel Workshop. He'd given me these. These are actually the 3D printed ones from 3D Breed, so they didn't really need a huge amount of work doing to them. Just literally the tail sticking on. And that's pretty much it. You know, no, the base plate as well sticking on. One of them is a hog, as you can see, with the rocket guns and also the mini guns on the side. I did unfortunately snap those mini guns, but you know, they're as good as they are. And also the slick as well. In the post, I'll talk about it in a second, but I was waiting for some door gunners from Peter Pig, so they haven't been added yet. But these are really nice helicopters. Thank you massively to Mike for providing them to me. The only problem is the rotors are slightly bent, and I did try my best using boiling water and other techniques to try to get them flat, but because I think just because of the thinness of them, they've actually just bent up, and that's just going to be what's happening with the resin. That said, I have actually been in touch with Warbases, and they are going to be sending me out a load of those rotor blades that I talked about last time. So they will be for sale, I think, on their website. Again, I don't know how much they're going to cost at this point. I only know how much they've charged me. I don't know what the charge will be on the website, but do check out those when they do appear at some point, and I'm sure they will do. So that's why I'm not so fussed about the bent rotors on the choppers, so I can just replace them with the Perspex ones instead anyway, and just paint those up. So yeah, I mentioned it. In the post, I just needed some door gunners. I looked through all the bits and pieces that I got, and I just not got enough for the helicopters that I've got. So I got 2 packs of Peter Pig ones. So that's 16 door gunners. That added to the ones I've already got will definitely, I should hope, will do enough for the helicopters that I've actually got, that I'm going to be painted up at some point. As always, fabulous. Provision from Peter Pig there. They always really send through stuff really quickly. You know, you order it and you get it literally days later, so very happy with that as always. The other thing as well that came through the post was my pal Dave Kenyon sent me a bunch of heavy British cavalry and some other bits and pieces of the Epic sprues. So there's a French gun there. I think that's, looking at it, I think that might be the horse artillery. I've got a British horse artillery gun there, another one. But he also sent me through some more Scots Greys. a few more of those to add on to the collection. Also some Royal Horse Guards as well. These are British, obviously, and also Dragoons. So it means I can do the blues for the Royal Horse Guards. There's enough in there to make a small squadron of those, and also it means that I can bulk out the Dragoons that I've already done anyway, and just add a few more squadrons to those so they can look a little bit more, as he said, like actual units. So Dave, thank you if you're watching. Thanks massively for that. I have already thanked you, but thank you again in public for that. They are in the pile now to be painted at some point in future. It's almost as though, you know, I'm trying my best. Every time I try my best to get to a point with the Epic stuff and get it finished, something else just piles into it, and it all just seems to get piled on top. But I was hoping to get all my Epic things painted by the end of this year. I think that was probably a little bit ambitious. I am looking at, you know, there's 4 sprues each of the French and the British infantry, I think, in total of each, including the Scots and also the Imperial Guard that I've got as well in there. So, and also then I've also got the British Light Infantry as well. I'm currently working on one of the Light Infantry battalions now, but I've also got those Peninsular Infantry as well, which I want to paint at some point. So there's still quite a lot to get through. I mean, I've got enough to play a game of GDA2 quite easily, and even Black Powder, which I will do, and I will film it as well. But again, that's not going to be something until 2025, I don't think, given my schedule at the moment and just, you know, where things are. It's fitting time in to do that stuff. So yeah, I was hoping to get them done by 2025, but I really don't think I will. Judging by how many battalions I can turn out in a week, which is literally 1, it looks like it's at least 2 months of work just on the infantry. The cavalry take a lot less time, and I can generally get you know, 1 or 2 maybe of those churned out. But there is quite a lot of cavalry left, and you know, I've now got even more to do. So I don't know. I think probably within the first 6 months of 2025, I should at least have those 2 British and French boxes signed, sealed, and delivered, I think. And then it's going to be starting with the Prussians. The good thing with the Prussians is it's just that box, so I'm just going to have to work my way through the Prussians, you know, just as basically a lump. And I'm also, obviously, I've still got to finish off some Vietnam stuff as well, so I've still got some VC to finish as well. Speaking of which, in the played section last weekend, again because I was on my own, I set up and played a game of Charlie Don't Surf. I made a short of it, and I've also put a post on the community post, some pictures from the game as well. Really good, really enjoyed it. It's my first time playing Charlie Don't Surf. I've said in the past that I really like I Ain't Been Shot Mum. It's one of my favourite games has been for a long time now, and it is, you know, it's really up there in my pantheon of games. And Charlie Don't Surf is very similar to it. There's quite a few slight differences here and there, but I really enjoyed the game. I just played from the Surf's Up scenario book, which is probably worthwhile buying. If you do buy Charlie Don't Surf, get the Surf's Up book, because Charlie Don't Surf, there's a couple of discrepancies in the scenario setup section that I came across, so I would suggest getting an actual, you know, scenario book which basically just exactly tells you how to do those, you know, set those scenarios up and what forces and things you need for it. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. But yeah, I set it up as a Great Rice Hunt, which is the first game in it's like an introductory scenario, so it's just infantry v infantry, a company of US versus a depleted company of NVA stroke VC, you know, local forces, clearing out a village. Really cleverly designed, because both sides have to do very different things. Now I think in Charlie Don't Surf, I mean, it worked well as a solo game, but I think it will work even better as a face-to-face game, simply because the VC and the MVA get to do a lot more things in there that you know, they like disappear onto blinds, for example, or they can split their blinds into 2, that kind of thing, create more dummies on the table, that kind of thing. That, you know, you kind of lose that nuance in a solo game. Doesn't mean to say that you can't play it solo, but it certainly, you know, I think it is very much designed for a 1 versus 1, possibly even with an umpire as well, would certainly help things out. But you know, you can get around some of those things by you know, creating rolling dice to see if things are on the table or not. It's, you know, there's ways and means of doing this kind of thing. I've done it in the past. It's not beyond the wits of man. I'll not tell you too much about that game because that has been recorded and will be out again in the new year rather than anytime soon, so don't expect that for a while. This week, later on next week on Friday, I have got a Vietnam Chain of Command game coming out using John Savage's rules, or the adaptations that he sent through to me that he's been touting around the Lardy shows for the last year or so, and that was great fun as well. Obviously patrons and channel members will actually get that early as well, so you know, this is your chance to sign up, and for £1 a week you can sorry, £1 a month, not £1 a week, £1 a month, you can get to see those videos early. But that will be out on general release, shall we say, on Friday. This weekend I'm going to be playing a game with Dean of I Ain't Been Shot Mum. This is going to be our Christmas game, so I'm going to be filming this for getting ready for that. Will be out the Friday before Christmas, so I don't think Christmas falls the midweek this year, so it'll be out before Christmas. And obviously, just to say as well, we are on the downhill slope at the moment towards Christmas, so things here are probably going to quieten down a little bit on the channel, at least until New Year. I will try and get some hobby updates out. I'll not be able to do it next week because next week my wife and myself are away for a few gigs, so we're away for the weekend, so I won't get a chance to record anything, I don't think, and I'll probably not really get much of a chance to paint much either over the week anyway, because it's going to be quite a short week until we go away anyway. So I doubt I'll get anything out, so don't expect another hobby update for at least a fortnight, and even then it may not happen, but we'll see, because I probably will get some stuff painted. So as I say, you know, Christmas is coming up. Just expect the output here on the channel just to be a little quieter than it has been, but obviously New Year will pick up again, and there is that Christmas game coming as well. Just one more thing to mention, that I did play Godzilla board game with Dean as well at the club on Thursday, or last night as I'm recording this on Friday. A great little board game. We played it before, but there were 4 players of us. This time it was only just the 2 of us. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Dean was King Ghidorah, I was Godzilla. It's a fun little card based game where you basically have to, you know, create decks or create power-ups for yourself as you go through. First game, wasn't so keen on it. Second game, listened last night, really enjoyed it, because it's one of those games where you really kind of have to know not the rules, but the cards, the things that happen on the cards and what's potential is going to happen. It's a very fun beer and pretzels game. I think, yeah, it definitely comes recommended, and I think you can actually pick it up relatively cheap as well, kicking around. So go and check that out if you're looking for a little birthday present, or a Christmas present for yourself, or for somebody else that you think might like a monster mashup game. Right, as I said, I will leave it at that. I've got nothing else to tell you this week. Done some painting, done some playing, done some posting. As I said, Christmas maybe get a little bit quiet over the next month or so, but I will try and keep content coming out as I can. And I've already mentioned it, but don't forget, check out Patreon and also channel memberships. And if you haven't already, it is free. Please do subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just boosts my algorithms in YouTube and gets more eyes on the prize over here. And I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.